So day 14 into the challenge. Sleep's just normal. Right back into my perfect rhythm. I'm going to hit the exercise bike and then we're going to make some waffles. I'll show you guys how I do that. And decided probably this afternoon or after work I'll go for a bike ride, and it'll be the outdoor exercise. It's Friday, so it's not a weekend. So always a great day on Friday. Let's get straight into it. Okay, so done and dusted. Good exercise bike. Now I think it's time to see if I can hit that 35 push-ups. Get that main goal early, and I can scrub it out and come up with a new goal. So let's see if I can do this. Okay, not as good as I wanted to do. I gotta go right down. So whilst I did 35, I didn't really do 35 proper push-ups.
So go ahead and go down. As Waddell goes down, you can't stop until your arm right here is actually parallel to the ground. You see how it runs along the ground perfectly? Just like that. Parallel lines. Now as he comes back up, his arms completely lock out. His elbows completely lock out. He doesn't come up halfway and go back down. That's not a real push-up. You actually have to go all the way back up and then all the way back down to where the arm is parallel with the ground.
So we're going to keep that goal there, and I'm going to try and hit it another time. It's a good lesson. It's never a problem to sometimes fail, as long as you get back up and try to do it again. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to make waffles, Belgian waffles or Brussels waffles, and I get it out of the pack because actually it's just as good as I think making it yourself. It's very fresh, and it's a lot of hassle making it yourself, especially working with flour, or at least for me. So the trick is really to get the mixture right. There's two most important things about making waffles. One is to get the mixture right. We're going to use just some standard scales. So the trick is when you put it on, first put the bowl on and make sure it's tiered, which means that it's at 0 with the bowl on. For 4 servings, we're going to do 200 grams. It's a new packet. And we'll just put that in. That's 200. Okay, a little bit more. It is really important to get the mixture right, not like to the millimeter or so forth, or milligram, but to get it pretty right. The second trick is the mixture of this and water is doing it 1.5. So we have 200 grams of waffle mixture. So we will want 200 plus a half, which is 3. So 1. So we want 300 milliliters of water. I'm just going to use a simple thing like this. 300 milliliters, and we put that in. Again, if you make it too thick, it's going to get really crumbly, and if you make it too thin, it's going to get really like doughy. Then biggest trick is also then to mix it up really good. Now, just first of all, kind of mix around so it doesn't make a mess and go everywhere, so it's a bit clumpy. Okay, you see here. We're going to try and get all the lumps out, so that's really important. Around the edges, so get all the dried stuff that hasn't gone in. Alright, check it out. Looks good. Alright. Take it off. Now, I know this is probably not the most healthiest food, but you do need to kind of eat a little bit normal. I mean, I'm not going to eat carrots for the rest of my life, so your body still needs to learn to process normal food. And it's not terribly unhealthy. I think the most important thing is everything in moderation. So just as long, just one waffle is not going to kill me. The second, I think the most important thing is, people always say the first punny cook is always a problem. It never works out, the first pancake you have. It always sticks and so forth. It's not really true. It's same with waffles. The reason it doesn't stick is because you didn't let it get hot enough. So we have a waffle iron here. Let me just unplug this. And the trick is really make sure it is very, very hot. Right at the absolute heat, which it is. Let me just turn it around so you can see it better. There you go. So this is very, very, very hot. I've had it on for about nearly 10 minutes. So ready to go. And then you just pour it like so. Slowly around the edges first. You can hear it. Oh, too much there. That's a bit too much. Oh, I'm really making a mess of this. So, alright. Now the main thing about the cooking is it's going to get rid of the moisture in it. So what we're going to see, so that's probably too much I put in, but okay. Can always clean up later. Push it down. Yeah, just clean up behind it before it becomes too much of a mess. What we're going to put with the waffles is quite simple. You can put some cream and some strawberries. We don't have any strawberries and I don't want any cream. So we're just going to use this, which is like a maple syrup. We call it strop. And put a sucker. Just a little bit of that. So we're going to wait for it to cook and we'll speed it up. One thing is always just clean up as you go along. Makes it a lot easier at the end so you don't have a big mess. As you see, you can see it's rising up a bit. It'll actually come back down. That's the moisture in the waffle expanding. So that's good. And it actually gives you a good idea of when it's kind of ready. As it slowly comes down, it should close up or come close to closing up. You can see it's already going down a little bit now. And that shows the moisture is escaping, leaving it to be a bit more crunchier. The shorter you cook it, the more doughy it is or stringy. And the longer you cook it, the more hard or you know, like a biscuit it becomes. I like it kind of in between. So as you see, it's closed back up again. Still a lot of steam coming out. So you kind of want to wait till that kind of stops a bit. Yeah, you don't want it to completely stop and be completely dried out. But right now it's still got quite a bit of moisture, as you see with the steam rising up. So you just want to wait. Also be careful, of course it's very, very hot here. But I think another 1 or 2 minutes you should be ready. Okay, so a bit of a look. That's looking good. Just a little bit of touch. Still a bit springy. So just want a little bit more. Here's my little cat here. Yeah. All right, and we're good to go. So the trick to getting them out, quite simple. Use a spoon, and with a good waffle iron, it'll be non-stick. They come out like so, fold up like so. Put these over here. So, shut it off. Put it here. A little bit of maple syrup, not much. So, a little bit of puder sugar, and there we have it. Fresh waffles, ready to go. And that was a good feat. Bicycle ride throughout the waylands or the polders. Nice and fresh, just in time to get home and get some dinner. So this closes off the 2 weeks, and I'll give a wrap in a minute. So that's 2 weeks up with the challenge. As you saw, I just came back from a nice bike ride. Really nice for the Dutch polders. Even though Dutch polders is kind of like, well, what you saw, it's kind of like the open land, very flat. Usually a lot of little canals for water, keeping the sheep in or the cows or whatever. Even though it's grey and miserable weather most of the winter, it's still really nice to get out there and get some fresh air and a bike ride for 45 minutes. If you look, you can see I'm not riding the most aerodynamic bike, let's say, but I still love to do it. Now, a couple of disappointments. One was I wanted to use my microphone today, really nice microphone, but the cable didn't come in. So I hope that comes in tomorrow and I can start using that. The second thing is a good friend of mine, Bakanya, is a photo of him. He lent me this gimbal, and if you look at it, basically no matter where you put your phone, it kind of keeps it always stable. Now, it should have been a quick installation, but even though the phone sees the device in Bluetooth, the app just wouldn't connect. I did the usual stuff. Tried to reset it. All the resetting functions protrude to a joystick that doesn't exist. Typical Chinese stuff. Badly translated is usually the problem here. I tried to update the firmware on the computer, wouldn't even see it. So after 20 minutes, I gave up. I'll look at it another day. Probably a permissions issue, but then at least you wouldn't get this shaking around stuff, and you get much more smoother camera work. But I'll check that out. I'm sure I can get that sorted out. I even tried on another phone, still wouldn't connect. So I'll just see what's going on there. Now, everything else is going good. I'm making some progress. If you saw, the weight is kind of stabilized and it's not coming off as quick as it was, but the fat percentage is going down. So I have a sneaking suspicion muscle is building up and taking over for the fat, because I'm definitely feeling thinner, let's say. But I think I'm getting a little bit more bulkier, and maybe that's what's doing it. Like I said, in 35 days, I've got the 10-hour marathon with the cross trainer. I saw a lot of you subscribed yesterday and today, so I really thank you for that. I think last check we're on 25, so we're about halfway. So that's really nice. Hopefully we get there in the end. But I did test the phone, and I am able to record probably for 10 hours. So we can always do it offline, but it would just be cool to do it live stream. Anyway, I'm going to go and enjoy my Friday. I hope you guys do too, and have a great weekend. And we'll take this up tomorrow again in week 3 of the challenge. Take it easy.